Young Lion's Pride, written by Andrew Mackay, narrated by Angus Freathy. Chapter 1. The men ran towards the sound of the gunshot, carving a path through the snow like a fleet of icebreakers. The patrol commander spotted a pair of figures approaching, wearing the familiar coal-scuttle helmets. "Halt! Who goes there? Friend or foe?" he bellowed. "Friend. Ham. Eggs. Advance one and be recognized." The two men raised their hands and weapons in the air and slowly walked forwards. "Stand down, lads. They're friendlies. Make safe," the corporal commanding the patrol ordered. There was an audible sigh of relief as the rest of the squad switched on their safety catches. It was freezing cold, and the men were desperate to return to the warmth of the guard-room. The corporal smiled as the two men arrived. "We heard the gunshots, so I called out the guard. What's the sit rep? Is everything all right, Cal?" He suddenly did a double-take. He didn't recognize Callum Steele's companion. And where the hell was George? Not really. The snow played havoc with our patrol. There was a sudden burst of machine-gun bullets that cut down the 5 guards where they stood. A figure emerged from the shadows and fired another fusillade at the still twitching corpses. "I don't want any of those bastards popping up and shooting us in the back as we pass by," he explained. "You can never be too careful, Sam," one of his companions agreed. "I love your work." Callum poked one of the bodies with his boot. "Thank you." Sam Roberts bowed. "That's what I do." "But the Schmeisser fire will have woken all the bastards up. The noise will have stirred up a right hornet's nest," Alan Mitchell warned. "Then we'd better get on with the mission," Sam stated. "Strength and honor, comrades." "Strength and honor," his two companions echoed as the trio ran off and disappeared into the darkness. Lieutenant Colonel Nicholas Griffiths, V.C., woke up with a start when he heard the burst of machine-gun fire. He swung himself off his bed, thrust his feet into a pair of slippers, and reached for his revolver in one fluid movement. "RSM!" he shouted. He wrapped a dressing-gown around him and checked that his Webley Mark IV was fully loaded with 6 rounds. A door opened further down the corridor, and a bald-headed figure promptly appeared. "Sir! Action stations, RSM. Order the battalion to stand to." "Very good, sir." Regimental Sergeant Major Johnson saluted and went back into his room to get changed. The colonel's bristly moustache quivered with delight at the prospect of seeing action again. Griffiths had served in the Royal Regiment of Fens Fusiliers during the First World War, where he had been awarded the Victoria Cross for saving the lives of fellow RIFs during the Battle of the Somme. He'd found it difficult to adjust to peacetime life, and had enthusiastically signed up for the auxiliaries who fought the IRA during the Irish War of Independence. When the Black and Tans had been disbanded, he suffered from itchy feet and even itchier fists, and had joined Mosley's British Union of Fascists. When the war had started, he had tried to return to his regiment, the Riffs, but the British government had turned him down, and he had been interned with his fellow fascists on the Isle of Man. Following the Nazi invasion and occupation of England, Griffiths had gratefully accepted Mosley's invitation to join the Legion of St. George, also known as the British Free Corps, an SS unit comprised of Britons. There was a rapid rat-tat-tat at the door. "RSM, kindly answer the door, please," Griffiths ordered. "But get ready. The visitors may be hostile." "Don't worry about me, sir," Johnson replied with a confident smile. "I was born ready." He approached the door, holding a cocked revolver in his right hand. Griffiths covered him with his Webley. Johnson carefully pulled open a sliver of curtain covering a window next to the entrance and peered out. A figure was waiting in front of the door, and another man was standing at the bottom of the steps leading up to the house. He held up 2 fingers. "Ready, sir," he whispered. Griffiths nodded, cocked his weapon, and flicked off the safety catch. Johnson held up 5 fingers, counted down to 0, and opened the door. "Oh, good evening, RSM," Callum Steele said politely. "I'm sorry to disturb you, sir." "It's quite all right, Private. What's your sit-rep?" Who is it?" Griffiths asked. "Private, Johnson began. "Steele, RSM. Private Callum Steele." He clicked his heels together and bowed. He had picked up the Teutonic custom on the Russian front.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?